Good evening, everyone, and welcome to an Inside Civil Service production. We will be hosting a town hall this evening with members of Local 100 to discuss um, what's going on at Local 100 in regards to the removal of the president of Local 100, Richard Davis, and the appointment of John Chiarillo, bypassing the executive board, our constitution and bylaws, and forcefully implementing a new regime, restructuring our union right before our eyes. This heavy-handed move by John Samuelson, he thought it would go unchecked, that nobody would, you know, would basically see him or catch him in the act of forcefully taking our union. But it's very important that as a membership, we stand up and we fight back and we make sure that they understand that we're not going to take this lying down. So I just want to give you some updates and some dates for you to keep before you. One is February 12th, next week, we will be having uh, a protest outside of TWU Local 100's Union Hall at 195 Montague Street. We're asking all of the members of Local 100 to come out in full force. We are actively organizing, engaging all 44,000 members. Anybody who's in the union, outside of the union, around the union, we're asking everyone to get involved, right? It's very important that everyone step up and join the fight to save our union. This is our last chance to take back our local. The fact that John Samuelson thought that he could take our union, that we would take it lying down, we wouldn't do anything, is a real problem. And so as we prepare for the protest next week, we also have a petition that is circulating online, and we also have petitions in the field where if you see someone come up to you and they're bringing a petition, this petition is basically to help us to be able to show our dissent and to prepare for the mass membership meeting. Now we know our union, whenever anything uh, challenging comes up, they do not hold a mass membership meeting. Well, mass membership meetings have to be held every year. We, the membership, have not been holding them accountable, and as a result, they've just been doing whatever it is that they want to do. It's time for us to uh, hold ourselves accountable for our union and do what we have to do to protect our union. So I want you to remember that date of February 12th. From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., we have a morning protest and we have an evening protest from 4 to 6. Of course, it'll go over the time frames, but we want to let you know that in between those time frames, that's when we will be speaking out. That's when we'll be, protesting and letting our voices be heard. It is very important that we show our dissent and that we prepare to take back our union. So, with that being said, I'm going to introduce some of the people who are here today to talk about what's going on at our local. We have formed a committee, the Coalition of the Concerned Members of TWU Local 100, to move away from the political aspect of it, which is all political anyway. We'll never get away from the political side because it's all political. However, we want everybody to know that they're welcome to be a part. You don't have to support me for president or any of my position, my political ideology. But if you are someone who loves your union, who understands the importance of having a strong union, you have to get involved. So let's take a moment, and I'm going to introduce our guests. I'll start with Mr. Ed Gator. Can you introduce yourself, Ed?
Evening, my brothers and sisters. My name is Ed Gator. I'm 30 years with MAPSTOA, Division 2. I started in 1995. It's been a privilege to working with side by side with all of you, and I'm here in support of this rally, and I'm in support of this town hall.
Okay, next we have Mr. William Ortiz.
Good evening, everybody. I'm William Ortiz. I'm from Car Equipment. I've been with Transit for 6 years, and I can't wait to discuss the issues that are going on within our union and to hopefully gain more support and make the members aware of what the issues that we're having.
Okay, next we have Mr. Galliano Francois.
Oh, hi, good afternoon, everybody. It's Galliano from E&E. I'm an elevator and escalator maintainer.
Okay, next we have Mr. Sean Hudson.
How you doing? This is Sean Hudson. I'm from Track, and I'm also a e-board member.
Next we have Mr. Tawan Phoenix. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
All right. Tawan Phoenix, I'm a stations department station agent, 13-year veteran, labor advocate, and NAACP lifetime member.
Okay, so let's get into the discussion, guys. Let's jump in and talk about what's going on. So first, let's talk about the move by John Samuelson and what he has done. How do you all feel about what it is that John Samuelson has done by, one, putting out a narrative to the membership that, you know, he had no other choice but to remove Richie Davis, totally bypassing the bylaws of our union when it comes to, you know, bringing members up on charges and having them go for the trial committee when they are, you know, faced with any charges of behavior unbecoming, or, you know, the charges that Richie Davis was charged with. How do you all feel about what John Samuelson did? Anybody can jump in and start.
Yeah, no, I'll just say that, you know, it is just completely against the bylaws, right? You know, we have bylaws for a reason. We have this laid out for a reason. We are supposed to follow that structure, follow that organization of rules, and they just completely violated that completely. Like, it's just, it's as simple as that. But obviously it runs deeper. The corruption is deeper. The purpose behind it is a lot more questionable, I would say, to try to keep it PC as possible, than they want to make it out to seem. And so I will say that, you know, everything that's been happening over the past month now has been a clear violation of our democracy as members and our ability to choose and elect the leadership that we want to represent us in good faith. And yeah, no, something has to be done.
William.
Yeah, so I feel what he did was very disrespectful to all of us in Local 100 and the rest of TWU and any other local, especially somebody who's head of the international. It's just spit in our face because, like Tuan said, we have bylaws, we have a constitution that the local abides by. So to bypass that, right, is smart on his end because he's effectively, you know, help dismantle any educational system that we have within Local 100. So, you know, even during my time of campaigning last year, members are not aware of the process and how things are supposed to go. what the e-board is supposed to do, how the members should be informed. So again, it's just a spit in our face. It's very disrespectful, and it's just disgusting. How he's he comes from Local 100 and how he represents us. So I feel like he makes us look bad.
Right.
As being head of the international.
Go ahead, Gator. You can jump in.
All right, real quick. This is nothing more than a money grab, okay? This comes down to basically TWU union dues money, okay? This is what it comes down to. The union pays a certain amount of funds to the international, okay, every month. They have to give it's like a stipend to use the AFL-CIO. John Samuelson knows that TWU Local 100 is the biggest transportation union in New York, okay? Actually, in the United States, if I'm not mistaken, in the U.S. So now, if he has the biggest, and he's appointed, he's always been appointed, or he's always won his elections because of the TWU. By holding the TWU hostage, keeping the members not informed, separating the members from their own union, not informing the members of exactly what's going on. People like Dennis Engel, Arthur Schwartz, all these people are controlling our union. It's not the members anymore. This is the problem that we're having. The members are so desensitized and so tired of being pushed down, and being oppressed that they just threw their hands up. They don't even go to union meetings no more. There's no such thing as a division meeting no more. You go to a shop gate, you don't even see people sitting in shop gate. They don't ask questions. And the only time you see these union officials is when it's contract time or elections. That's it.
Right.
If
so
you get into trouble.
Right. So with what it is that Utano has done as far as stepping in and taking our union, I want us to be very clear that this town hall that we're having is to mobilize and move the members of Local 100. This is not about us just coming on here to air out, our gripes, but to let John Samuelson, Tony Utano, Arthur Schwartz, Dennis Engel, and John Chiarillo know that we are not taking this lying down, right? We are very much ready to move. And we want the
100%.
members of Local 100 to understand that you have the power to move. The days of apathy, of feeling as if, we're powerless, we are not. We have all power. We have all power. Our bylaws support us. We're going to get into that in a second. But I want us to hear from Sean Hudson and Galliano about how they feel about what John Samuelson has done. But I wanted to be very clear. Starting on the 12th, we're moving, right?
Period.
That is the beginning of our mobilizing and moving us into where it is that we're going. But I want us to talk about it. If anybody else would like to come on and talk about what is happening and also how they can support the movement of what it is that we're doing to get our union back, right? Because this hijacking of our union, this playing chess while the majority of the leadership is sleeping and thinking that we have a union and we have elections and we don't have it. This is a serious, serious problem that has continuously happened. If you see, Trackman Joe said they did the same thing before by letting him take over for Tony, right? So this legacy of appointments has to end. And so now let's hear from Galliano and then Sean, jump in. Galliano?
Yes, hello, good afternoon, everybody. What I've been doing in my department, elevator and escalator for my guys is education because right now E&E we're the smallest department, and so far with anything with the union, our members really don't really know what's going on. So what I've been doing in my department to get us up to speed, what's going on, to try to get them more involved when it comes to voting and being more active. I've been sharing information. I've been doing YouTube videos telling guys, and my members didn't even know that what was going on in the beginning, that the whole Richard Davis leaving and Mr. Torello taking over. So it's not until I shared them the information what's going on, but from our team here, and also what has been made available on the TW website, then they start realizing what was going on. And it was like, well, then what was the point of the whole election then if this was just going to happen? So and that's what I understood. Like everybody is staying here, the team. We just have to continue educating the members. We just continue to making those videos what we're doing, reaching out to members. Continue going to shops, talking to people one on one, hand to hand, face to face, and just continue to keep the hope alive that we can educate the members enough that they realize that we have to stand up and take our union back.
Okay, thank you, Galliano, for your insight and input. So Galliano's from E&E. He's been doing a great job going throughout his division, educating the guys, giving them the information about what's going on. Right now, you're going to see their flyers coming around in the field to let you all know, and so that you can scan the QR code to sign the petition. We need these petitions signed. Our goal is 20,000 signatures by the end of the month. We were able to get 12,000, close to 13,000 signatures in 12 days doing petitioning. So we know that it is possible to bring in, to get members to sign petitions and to show their dissent. So we're hoping, and we know that the members are going to sign. And so when you see us in the field with the petitions, please sign the petition. It's very important that you sign that petition. We need the petitions so that it's an organizing tool to let them know and to show our dissent. Furthermore, we're preparing for the mass membership meeting. We're going to talk more about that later, but let's hear from Sean Hudson. Sean Hudson is our executive board member. He's going to talk about how he feels about what just happened with the move by John Samuelson. Go ahead, Sean.
Good evening, everyone. You said it better than anyone can say it. It was a pure hijacking. Everything about this was premeditated. All the charges that they used to take him out of here, out of office, were already known way ahead of time. It was done this way because Chiarillo, if that's what they want to be president, was probably absolutely not going to be able to beat you. So what they did was put him in play and do what they all had plans on doing from the beginning. This didn't just happen, this was premeditated. And it was a simple hijacking, just like you said. So everyone needs to be up in arms about what's going on. Like, no one needs to be sitting down on their hands and thinking that this is okay. Everyone here should be fuming about what's going on. You understand what I mean? Because again,
Right.
like you said, if we don't do anything, we don't say anything, then what?
Exactly.
This has been going on for the longest. So
Well,
the only thing I go ahead.
no, go ahead, finish.
No, but the only thing we can do is like mobilize and make noise. But when I say make noise, we have to think when it came down to Dr. Martin Luther King when he did the bus boycott, right? The bus boycott took, I think, a little over a year. We with this current generation, and I just mean all of us, right? This current generation, we seem to think that if we hit something one time, the building is gonna fall down. Like we want this instant gratification. Sometimes you can hit this big boulder with a sledgehammer and hit it 500 times and not even make a crack. And that's what
Hmm.
needs to be done right now, right? If you gotta hit and hit and hit and keep hitting, and you gotta wear down the system. This system has been in place for many, many, many years. So, us striking at it, at this current union, this current regime one time, it's not going to work. we have to wear them down. You understand?
Correct.
We have to show that we're in this for the long haul. There is no like you strike one time, you strike two times, and then that's it. You got to keep coming at them, and coming at them, and you have to make it uncomfortable. Until we make it uncomfortable for them, then nothing is going to happen. But you also have to understand this as well. As we're making it uncomfortable for them, it's also going to be uncomfortable for us. People seem to
Right.
forget change takes work, change hurts, change takes time. That's what people forget. As we're going through trying to make change, we're also affected as well. Again, I'm just going to go back to we're in a climate where we want everything is microwavable. We want everything to happen within 2 minutes. And that's not the case here. This regime has been around for a long time. You're not just going to get them out of there by this big feat, taking them down with one strike of the axe, so to speak, or the sledgehammer. You have to keep making it uncomfortable. And until we are willing to make it uncomfortable for as long as it's going to take, nothing is going to happen. We have to keep at it, period. I don't know any other way to put it. You have to have the resolve that they had back in the day. You understand? We can't do this for 1 month. Okay. Now, if it does happen within 1 month, oh, that's great. But we have to do this over and over and over and show them that we're not going to be quiet. But if we be quiet, or if we seem to think that we go down there for this time, this one time, and then it doesn't go our way, do we stop? No. That's the issue that I have, is that we have to keep doing this, keep making noise and make it uncomfortable for them. If we're not making it uncomfortable for them, then everything goes as planned. When we start making it uncomfortable, then things start to happen. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
Okay. Hold on one second. I'm seeing people trying to get in, but I can't see them.
Can I just piggyback off of what Sean Hudson said real quick?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Basically, in 2005, when we went on strike, we stood out there in the cold for 72 hours. 72 hours in the freezing cold, fighting for all the members of the union. We all stood in solidarity as one, not for ourselves, but for our union. We were fighting for us and our union. We were fighting for better wages, better medical packages. They wanted to try to eliminate everything from us, management, but we stood strong. We stood fast. We all huddled together to keep warm, but we all had one goal in mind, is to stand together. That's what we need to do here. We need everybody to come out and stand together, stand in unity, and tell this union that it's our union, not theirs.
100%.
Okay. So I'm having a little difficulty with bringing everyone on. Hold on. I see everyone, but I'm not able to bring everybody on. I don't know why this is happening. Let me see.
And not only do we need to do it, we will do it, right? This is not, a case of, oh, I hope, I wish, I think, I pray. No, no, no. This is what's going to happen, right? Local 100 is going to realize who we are. They're going to realize the power of our membership. They're going to realize our voices, and they are going to fold. They will have to, because the members are louder than them. We outnumber them in great capacity, in great numbers, and our voices will magnify and they will spread in many different avenues and aspects that will make them extremely uncomfortable. I don't think they understand the lengths we are willing to go, both politically and both within our union, to make sure that we are able to have our voices heard, and to make sure that we are able to have the representation that we choose, not the representation that they try to choose for us. So this is not a situation of if, maybe, hope, pray, want, desire. This is what's going to happen. And they need to realize that and wake up sooner than later, because the more uncomfortable it gets for them, the more miserable it's going to get for them. And I
Right.
hope they do realize that. And I hope they will realize that sooner than later.
Right. So with that being said, I want to just go back to something with Sean. So Sean is on the executive board. Sean, speak to the fact that you still, to date, with something that they say is so urgent, so pressing, they put in the newspaper that they will call the executive board meeting. As you can see, a question on the screen is saying, Sean, any talk about when the next executive board meeting is? Have you heard anything about the executive board meeting?
No, nothing has been emailed to me at all about the executive board meeting. So I was gonna actually call them tomorrow to try to see like what's going on and try to get their temperature. But as of yet, nothing has been put in writing as far as when it's going to happen.
Okay.
May I, Mr. President?
Yeah,
Isn't it
1 second, please.
amazing how
Go
everybody
ahead,
in the union,
Girly. What we're talking about, the question that was asked was we were talking about how do we feel about what happened with John Samuelson? You can
Okay,
jump on that, and we're going to move on to
okay.
to the rest
Let's.
of the town hall, but you can
Thank you,
answer.
thank you. First and foremost, good evening, everybody. We need to remove our feelings from this. This has got nothing to do with how we feel. It's all about what we do. And at this present time, we need to put every e-board member on blast right now because they know what's going on and they're the body that's supposed to step up and take actions. We, the members, need to remove our monies. Go to the department and remove our checkoff dues from these people and pay them ourselves.
Wait a minute. Wait. We can't. The thing about it is we have to be careful and very responsible with this because if we
Yes.
do not pay dues, we
No,
become
no,
members
I'm
in
not
that.
saying not pay dues, honey. I'm saying remove the checkoff list from the company. We're paying the company money to take our dues. Remove that from them. Let the leadership know we're willing to take our monies. Because the only thing that these people understand is the money. You understand? And that's what's
Right.
going on right now. We went through all of these trials and error. We have policies in place that the e-board's supposed to take uh reference to. They supposed to file grievances for because they're not getting any information from violating the e-board committee taking authority from the e-board. The e-board's supposed to file grievances according to our bylaws, yes or no?
Right.
These are the things that's supposed to be done. We have an e-board member there. That a letter should have been already sent out that
Right.
Samuelson violated this.
So that's the thing, right? I get what you're saying. I agree to an extent. The only thing that I want us to understand is that what we understand to pay our dues manually and everything else, all of the membership does not understand that. And
Yes,
if they stop paying their dues, one of the
Right.
things that we're fighting for in our petition is that we have an election, right? We're
right,
demanding elections. If we stop paying dues, if the members stop paying dues and withhold their dues, they will
We
be
can
in
vote.
bad standing and their votes will not count.
Right.
Right? So we have to be very, very responsive with that. Sean Hudson, who is on the executive board, they've only met once, which was their swearing in, and now he's preparing and he's going to go before the executive board and deal with the issues and everything as when he gets there. But one of the things I want to say to us, to the members of Local 100, and what we have to understand is that we have to understand that this fight is our fight, right? Nobody's coming to save us. And I want us to understand that because time and time again, what I'm hearing online and what I'm seeing online is that people are saying things like, oh, well, what about Letitia James, the Department of Justice? right? Where's the Department of Justice, the Department of Labor? Well, the Department of Labor has consistently told the members of Local 100 that they will not be getting involved in our internal affairs. This fight is only going to be won by the members of Local 100. And so
Period.
let's be clear with that. Number two, the mass membership meeting has not been being conducted as a mass membership meeting, right? We show up to the mass membership meeting, they parade themselves before us. There's no time where the members have a chance to address the varying issues that we have. They want to give us t-shirts and trinkets and say, hey, come in, almost like cheerleaders say, hey, come in, welcome, 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 right? And when you get in, they're preaching to you and they're talking to you, they're talking at you actually, but the members never get to deal with the business of the union. And that's what the mass membership meeting is for. And we're not even having mass membership meetings, but it's on all of us because we all go, we all allow them to play in our face and don't do anything. But this, what John Samuelson did, is so egregious because of the fact we just came out of elections. We just came out of elections. And right after we came out of elections with a candidate who they knew was violating women. John Samuelson knew about Nicole Hecker. He knew about Nicole Hecker and what had happened to her. It was everywhere in the papers, on different platforms throughout our union, and WhatsApp chats. Everybody was talking about it. However, they did nothing, right? And so what we have to understand is that John Samuelson is the mastermind, along with Dennis Engel, Arthur Swartz, because they are after total control of this union. Total control of this union, and by any means necessary. And what they're showing us is that what they believe about us is that we're not going to do nothing. We're going to let them take the union. We're going to continue to pay dues. We're going to sit there and take it. So I want to hear from you all, how do you feel about waking up, reading the papers, and seeing a daily chronicle of bought off press, because the Daily News won't take our stories, right? The chief won't talk to us. I got journalists calling me, asking me questions, but won't interview me about a story to catch and kill this movement. So we are on to something. We have to keep the pressure on. And I want you all to dig in and lay into them about what this means, right? Do not hold back on this town hall. Let them know what it is that you plan to do, what the 12th will look like, and how we're going to move forward. So the floor is open to anyone who wants to jump in and talk about just the culture of sexual violence against women at Local 100, right? Think about the WhatsApp when we had our meetings and women would come on and talk about being violated by members of Local 100 or management for that matter, and nothing being done. Women have full out orders of protection against people who they work with, and nothing is being done about it. And in the union, forget about it. Gator, give the history on Mr. Tony Aiken and what happened in Mapstoa, because what we're seeing unfold too is that there is a culture in Mapstoa, especially when it comes to violence towards women, sexual violence, and violations towards women. So, Gator, can you please briefly give us the history of what you know that has been going on in Mapstoa? And after that, anyone can jump in and talk about how they feel about what's going on. Go ahead, Gator.
Thank you, Evangeline, for that. Back in 1995, when I first started, the culture was already existing within Mapstoa. It was a disgusting culture that was always hidden. It was always hush hush. It was always kept quiet. I can go back as far as Walnut Depot with Manny Gonzalez. Frank Austin at the time was chief line steward in Walnut. He wasn't even a chairman or division chairman. He was a chief line steward in Walnut at the time. I can go back to Rosie Allen back in 1995 in Gun Hill Depot. There was always accusations. There was always things that happened in Gun Hill. Everything was totally kept quiet. There was incidents that happened in Kingsbridge. There was incidents that happened in Hudson Yard, the Hudson Pier. There's always been this stigma of women being violated by union officials. It's always been. It's gotten to the point where it was always a reoccurring thing. But the one thing that the union officials can count on is that nobody from the upper union leadership would do anything about it. And let me explain why. The leadership needs those officers to keep those members in lines of each depot. Okay? So if those union officials can keep those members in line and make them vote for the leadership is secure. The leadership will always be there, even with their discretions. So they always turn the blind eye and a deaf ear to it.
Right.
We've
Well,
had
I want to
issues
say
in
something.
Gun Hill.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to say this about Tony Aiken and Frank Austin. Okay.
Mhm.
John Samuelson covered for them. He gave them lawyers when
Yep.
they were found to be abusing women. And that culture ran deep, very, very deep in Mapstoa. The woman who Frank Austin basically tormented wound up leaving TWU and the MTA altogether, right? She had to retire and leave. And she got no justice. John Samuelson didn't give her an attorney. He gave the attorney to the abusers. He made sure that they were well protected. So we don't want to hear this, that he was so outraged by what was happening that he had to remove Davis, because we know that that wasn't the case. But go ahead, Gator. Go ahead and finish, and then we're going to move on.
Thank you.
I just wanted
We've
to
had
share that.
issues in Gun Hill with Rosie Allen. We've had issues in Kingsbridge. We've had issues in West Farms. Now, I'm just going to mention a few names because they're no longer working for the transit authority.
Okay, he froze up.
Luke Nuff Lau. He was the chairman, division chairman. Akins at the time, rep. Go figure on that one. Just to give you the list of names. Let's see. We had Gun Hill. We had Angel Montalvo, who Tommy Brown took over for because he lost the depot. Angel Montalvo had many issues in Gun Hill Depot when he finally lost the depot and Tommy Brown took it over. The members were fed up. They finally did something about it. I'm proud of the people.
Wait, let me ask you a
Gun Hill.
question. When you say he had issues, were there issues where it was violence towards women, abuse of power? What did he actually do?
Each and every person that I named, okay, between Manny Gonzalez, Frank Austin, Rosie Allen, Tony Akins, Angel Montalvo, Luke Nuff Lau, and Richie Davis came out of Quill when he was in Quill. They all had indiscretions with women.
Okay.
Power.
Okay, so they all had
to get what they wanted.
Right. And they were all protected, just
they
like right now. Right. We have
there's a culture. There was
right,
a culture. They were all protected by the upper union.
Right. Now remember, right now in Quill Depot, it is being alleged that Ronald Rios, he was removed from Mother Clara Hell for the same type of behavior. However, he's still a chairman. No one's removing him from office. There's no outrage about what's happening, right? It's still being covered. He's still being allowed to go on as if nothing's happening. So this is a pervasive culture of what's happening in Local 100. And these allegations run deep. But I want us to move on because I'm looking at the comments and people have questions. One of the questions is, Why have bylaws in the union? Why have bylaws if the union committee doesn't abide by them? This local is just about self-preservation and not for its members. Okay, that's one comment. Let's see anything else that we can jump in.
There's issues in West
And-
Farms right now with union officials.
Right. Does anybody else have anything to say? Please jump in, talk about how you feel about the culture of what's happening at Local 100 right now in regard to John Samuelson and the move that he's just made, the culture of appointments, the legacy of appointments, bypassing our bylaws. How do you all feel about that? Anybody can jump in and answer the question.
Yeah. So, I just want to say from my experience being here 6 years, I've witnessed a lot of members being neutral in situations where they should have been speaking up or should have been taking action, right? So, we can put blame on the administration, yes, but also the members have to not be neutral, right? When you're neutral, you're complicit in the behaviors and the actions that the administration will take against the members as well as management, right? So the members have to understand that you can't just complain about what the union is putting you through or what management is putting you through if you're not willing to take action and find the resources and find people that know how to attack the issues that's going on in your work location, right? So it's important that people not stay neutral in situations where they really need to speak up or take action, right? That culture, right, that of sexual harassment against women or retaliation against the members, right, from the administration, that's also due to members being neutral and just business as usual. It's not their issue, so I'm not going to get involved, right? There's a few of us that actually take action, and we need to encourage members to, if you speak up, right, it's power in numbers. It's power in numbers. You have to speak up. You have to take action. You can't be neutral because these things will linger and go on, and it's going to get very aggressive over time, right? These behaviors, this culture of sexual harassment or retaliation against members, right? If you don't say anything,
Right.
So
Yeah.
a lot of us, I'm sorry, I'm girly. 25 years on the job. To address anything, we got to allow the membership to know how to address it. There's
Mhm.
only one way to make any type of claim, and that's in writing. And we fail to utilize. Each of these people are employees of the New York City Transit Authority that has policies in place of zero tolerance. Even though they're on release, they still can be brought up on charges through the company. Why are
Well,
we not?
actually,
Why are
well,
we not doing it?
actually, they cannot, if you're on union release or TA or on union release and you're not at your tools, if you are found to have violated the rules, if you are found to have violated any rules in the TA, you cannot be brought up on charges while you can be brought up on charges, but nothing's going to happen to you while you're released to the union. It's when you return to your tools, depending on the outcome of the investigation and everything else,
So
that the transit
where
authority, wait a
where
minute, that the transit authority, this has happened before. So
I
in the case
understand.
of Tony Aiken and Frank Austin, I think it was Frank Austin, if I'm not, because I keep confusing their names, but it was Frank Austin, I believe, that was brought up on charges for sexually harassing a supervisor. He went to arbitration. However, the arbitrator could not fire him because of the fact he was released to the union. This did not happen while he was acting as an active worker. So there are protections in that regard where the management cannot interfere with the union affairs when you're on union release. And so They cannot, nothing will happen to anyone until they're back at their tools.
Okay, so this is my question.
Mhm.
Where are these policies that stipulates that? Because I've been searching.
They're arbitration awards. So the law, the rules, if you go to the Department of Labor,
Mhm.
right? And if you look in the Department of Labor rules under Lambda and the Bill of Rights, you will see that management cannot interfere in union affairs. They're not supposed to. They can be
But
sanctioned under that.
that's not
It's
a
called,
union affair. That is
it
not a
is a
union.
union. When you are released as a union rep, you are not at your tools. You're released to the union. You're not at work. So if the transit authority brings you up on charges and they're moving to dismiss you, they will be stopped by the arbitrator because it's an overreach. You cannot discipline a union official. There's arbitration awards out on it. So when you return now, if the transit authority would have waited, or if he would have ever went back to his title, then the transit authority could do something. But they didn't even do anything when he went back to his title. He actually got a promotion, right? So until the members, people who are violated, and our union, until we have a new regime and we have people in place who really understand the power of the union, we have no protections, right? We have no protections. And so that's the bigger issue. It's not so much of the rules and stuff that are in place, because what we see now, no matter what the rules are, they'll
They
bypass
find a
the
way around it.
rules and
Right.
do whatever it is that they want to do. It has to be a total move by the membership to take back our union. Until we handle our internal business, elect new leadership, ensure that we don't allow them to just keep stealing elections from us, right? Like right now, what is happening with the Stronger Together slate is we sued AAA for not giving us the election results at the end of the night, right? The arbitrator read off, the neutral monitor read off some numbers to us, but we never saw the tally sheets. We don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. Somebody just told us numbers and we were told to leave, right? You'll get anything else that we're going to give you, you'll get it tomorrow. You'll find it on the website. AAA packed up and left before the election was even finished being counted and everything was done. How does this benefit us as members? It does not benefit us as members. However, they've done an amazing job at disinformation, killing all shop steward program, killing all organizing in the union at all. Right now, we're seeing people get sliced up, stabbed, women getting punched in the face, people getting drugged through the system, trains getting hijacked. Nothing is happening at all. This is crazy, right?
It's
So
ridiculous. Yeah.
we have to understand that we have to do something about it. And it's nice if we could hold them to the rules. But because we are a union and we're hated by government and basically all entities, right? Because of the power of the people that comes with the union, there's no one coming to save us. So us taking to the streets, us taking to our union hall, us signing petitions, us preparing for elections, us taking them to court, us keeping the pressure on, us building out and building and mobilizing and educating the workers, that is how we are going to take back this union. There's not any amount of negotiations back and forth with them that's going to work, right?
Agreed.
We're going to have to
Agreed.
take it from them by force. So anybody else want to jump in and talk about what we're talking about right now, which is what it is that we have to do to take back our union? Encourage the body who is listening, and you all are the ones who have stepped up to lead. Please weigh in. Ben, if you want to jump in and say something.
Good evening, all. Good evening. apologize. I'm just getting on and listening to what everybody was saying. I think part of the strategy to deal with departmental. What I mean, each person has to focus on their department to get the support. A lot of times things get to the way, brushed to the wayside because it doesn't affect you until it affects you. And so I think we need to strategize and empower each individual's department to get the numbers to come out. Those that are in station must focus on station. Those that are in CED must focus on CED. Those that are in MAPSTOA, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Once we build departmental momentum, I think we'll be able to come out much stronger, unified, to make a real impact. Pretty much. Excuse me, I'm just a little lethargic, and I have to go to work tonight. I'm just a little lethargic and tired. But I think those are part of the focus on which we must really put our work in our departments. Yeah, it's true. It's a culture here that's not only with the union, but it's also with the MTA.
Right.
The rules go is applied when it's applied to the small people. But when you get up in management, it's about overlooking, moving somebody from one location to another location, and it becomes business as usual. Only when it gets to the extreme and it looks like it's about to get out. Transit likes to, and the union likes to keep stuff in house. So therefore, it doesn't get out to the major mainstream, and that exposure. So one, we have to build within our departments. Two, we have to come together as a unit, departmental. And three, we have to expose them. I think that's part of our should be part of our strategy.
Shampri, jump in. Shampri?
Oh, snap.
Is Shampri still here? Shampri?
Listen, I see Cashmere Jackson asked the question. She said, why should we be out on the 12th? There's many simple answers to that. We need to be out on the 12th because we need to end this boys club. You can begin it and end it there. This boys club of just abuse and mismanagement and just pickpocketing the union and our members. That has to end. Us not being able to elect our leadership in good faith, that needs to end. Us not being able to cast our votes electronically and having to wait for a secret ballot that doesn't get to half of us, or doesn't return in time to be counted, or doesn't get counted if it does return in time, that has to end. We need to be able to advocate for ourselves, right? We need to be able to fight for our ability to protect our jobs, protect our wages. Right now, we are so underpaid, and it is mind-boggling how underpaid we are compared to even companies within the MTA, the Metro North and LIRR. We're way behind them as well. So we need to be able to protect our jobs, protect our livelihoods, protect our wages, and the current administration is just not doing it. And beyond that, they're trying to, by any means necessary, keep themselves in power and keep themselves siloed away from the members. They're trying to disengage members, make them less engaged, less informed, be more apathetic. And they're trying to tear down all of us. They're trying to basically make us just a bank for them, where we take out a little bit of money every single paycheck to give them more money and to enrich them, while they in return do little to nothing for us. This is what they are doing. They are stealing from us, and in stealing from us, they are jeopardizing our futures. They're jeopardizing our union, our jobs. The stations department, which I'm a part of, is probably one of the most one of the departments that is in most jeopardy right now. Our position as station agents, positions like CTAs right now, they're trying to do this whole blanket CTA, blanket cleaner
Broadbanding. They're trying to broadband the title. You're frozen, Taiwan. Okay, Shampri, please jump in because Taiwan has frozen. His screen's frozen.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Good evening. Yeah, I mean, the Stations Department is definitely under attack. Well underpaid compared to everybody else. And when you ask about why we're so underpaid, this is what you get from people that is on release. Oh, it's a political issue. Then why are we funding politicians that are not funding us or protecting our jobs? So the membership has to wake up. Why we're not at $40 an hour? We should be beyond. We should be at 45, closer to 50. Everything is getting expensive in the city. The union is standing by. We're sitting ducks. They're not doing anything. They're not fighting. There's no
Right.
way that we should be in the predicaments that we're in. There's no way that Richie Davis should be getting a paycheck for the next 100 weeks. This is a
Exactly. Wait,
slap in the
Shampri,
face.
we had a question that we were answering. Why should we be out on the 12th? Why do you feel that everyone should attend the protest that we'll be having at the Union Hall on the 12th?
Because we're funding bad behavior. That is exactly what it is. That's why if you everybody talks about it. If you're absolutely sick and tired of the neglect of the union, it is time to show up and show your voice. We are being neglected, not only just by our union, but by the MTA. It is time to show up and voice your voice. Don't sit and say it in the dark. Don't say it in quiet rooms. And that's what's been going on. We say it amongst each other. Now it's time to come out and let the world know. Take a stand.
Right. So
Right?
what I would say is why we should be out on February 12th is
Because
because
it's a quality of life.
to
It's
our
a
right
quality
to
of life
be.
issue, Evangeline.
Go ahead.
It's a quality of life. We, the members, are the ones putting in the hard work, working 40-hour weeks, and some of us have to supplement that income by working overtime and taking more time away from our families to go to work to support our families. What we're trying to tell everybody is it doesn't have to be that way. As a union, if we all stuck together and fought for what we fight for, we don't have to work 65, 60 hours a week. We can sustain ourselves with a 40-hour week paycheck. And at the same time, while we fight for our paychecks and we fight for our medical coverage, and now we have something to look forward to when we retire. But when you start working for the transit authority, you're not thinking about retirement. You're thinking about getting your paycheck, sustaining yourself, making sure you can start a family and everything else that goes with it. But later on in life, as you start hitting those 10, 15, 20-year marks, you're going to start realizing, oh my God, I'm going to retire soon. But now when you look back at it, the tier 6 members, you guys are in a giant pickle. Because here's the thing, you're only walking out with 42 hours in your pension
Right.
because you're capped. And the union hasn't done nothing about it. And at the same
Correct.
time, you haven't had a decent pay raise since you've been here.
Right. But I think I want us to stay on topic because I want the members to understand what we're dealing with as far as our union being taken from us. February 12th is about putting the power back in the hands of the membership. Tony Atano is retired. He is now a
Collecting a
consultant
paycheck.
at TWU Local 100. Okay? He has no
Making
business.
$170,000 a year as a consultant, getting a union check, a union pension check, an MTA pension check. He's robbing the bank. John Samuelson
Exactly.
robbing the
He's
bank.
a
They
Wait
are
a minute.
consultant.
continuing to
Let me
rob
finish.
us.
Let me finish this statement that I'm saying, and then you all can chime in. I want the people who are listening to us to be very clear about what this is about. This is about our union being taken from us. And we had John Chiarillo forced upon us. We had Sean Hudson just talk about the fact that being here at our being not being contacted yet about anything. He did not vote for John Chiarillo to be the president of Local 100, right? We just came out of an election. They've taken it from us. Somebody just asked, can we file a lawsuit, right? No, we cannot file a lawsuit right now. We have to go through the process of dealing with our constitution and bylaws.
What gives this?
We have to make it to the mass membership meeting. The executive board has to move motions and do different things in order for us to be able to get to the place where we get our vote. We get our vote. So an election within the next 6 months is what we are working towards. We have to keep the pressure on. We need the members to be activated. Facebook, WhatsApp, texting back and forth, all of that is great. However, activism, fighting back, happens in the street. It happens when you show up and you show people, you show the leadership that we are serious about what is happening, right? Our wages, tier 6, we're never getting adequate raises. We're not getting anything except everything will be given back to the MTA as long as these people are in power. For everybody that's under the sound of my voice and that is on and listening to this town hall, we all know what we're experiencing. Right now, at Local 100, they are sending out letters for chronic absenteeism and not allowing people, not accepting people's cure letters for their sick lines or their explanation for why they were out chronically sick. People are taking 30 days, signing stipulations, going to arbitration on FMLA issues, right? On approved time. And so how is this happening? We are now a company union. And as long as we have the 5 white men in the room who feel as if they can just do whatever it is that they want. They even called those of us who have stepped up communists, insurgents. They forgot that Quill and Connolly, when they first started out organizing the union, they were communists. Right? They were communists. Communists started TWU Local 100. That is a fact. And so for him to turn around and say, oh, you all are communist insurgents and you're just whining. No, we're not whining. We're letting you know and we're exposing you. Because had we not spoken up about being taken into receivership, we wouldn't have a union right now. And for most members who are listening, they don't understand what's happening. And so we want to make it very clear as to what has just transpired. Samuelson tried to take us in receivership. We exposed his move, and that, according to our Constitution and bylaws, that was an overreach of power. Once he was exposed, he backtracked. He gave it back to the union and put it in their hands and said that on Friday, the executive board would meet to vote on who would be finishing out the unexpired term of the forced out president, right? The forced to resign President Davis. However, that never happened. The executive committee then voted. The executive committee has no vote under our bylaws and constitution, only the executive board. So Chiarillo has been forced on us as president by a bunch of VPs and 3 top officers that were clueless to understand the process was totally being violated and sat there and voted as if they had some vote. They didn't have a vote. The vote comes and the choice comes from the executive board. And under our Constitution and bylaws, the executive board is the supreme governing body of Local 100. The only body that can reverse anything that the executive board decides is that of the 44,000 members at large of TWU Local 100. And so we want to be very clear that this move that we're doing is to mobilize and move our members to act. It's time for us to act. So on February, when we say come out on February 12th, that is just the beginning. You heard Sean talk about the Montgomery bus boycott. We're dead smack into boycotts happening right now in regard to DEI. But understand that wasn't that boycott that we know happened and that we saw happen and that led to our civil rights and so many other gains that came from that boycott. It was sustained resistance. It wasn't that one day we came out. No, it was every day we came out. Every day we resisted. Every day we refused. Every day, every day, every day until we got it. So we want to conjure up that spirit at Local 100 that it's time for you to fight and to do something. We want the members to know that it's your time to come out, to be heard. We'll have microphones there. We want you to be heard. We want you to say how you feel and let the leadership know that you are aware of what's happening. If you don't do anything, you are just financing your own demise. Trust me, management and our union are working together. They're working together. Our contract talks about if you go and look in section A11 and 12, A12, A11 and A12, it talks about chronic absenteeism and what you have to do to cure your sick. The only way management could send out these mass letters to the membership, put people up for dismissal, some people PDS'd, right? Saying that they did something fraudulent to steal time or whatever they're doing, is because management and the union are working together. Or they could not do these things, right? So the 12th is about standing up and fighting back, okay? It's not about anything else except us standing up, fighting back, and taking back our union, ensuring that we have an election, ensuring that the 18-month rule is suspended, and that the people who want to run for president of this union can step up and run, that there are real elections. We want the Department of Labor to oversee the elections. We want the Department of Labor to oversee the elections so that we can ensure that they don't steal that from us again, right? And we want it to be done by electronic voting and paper balloting as well. So this is a real serious time, and this is just the beginning. And so let's move on. I want to hear from some other people.
Hold
Sean,
on.
if you want
Let me jump in it. Let me jump in and
to go ahead.
say this. Everybody is so quietly mesmerized and worried about what Donald Trump is doing. If you look at the MTA, you look at the union, what Donald Trump is doing is no different than what they're doing. It's one and the same.
Thank you.
So I want this to be stated. If we're worrying about Donald Trump, then you need to be worrying about this, what's going on at this union and what's going on with the MTA. Because it's no different. It's absolutely no different. What Donald Trump defunding the USAID, the MTA is defunding us by not giving us proper pay raises. The union is standing around letting them defund us by not giving us proper pay raises and being quiet and then taking money from us. It is no different. The union and the MTA is one, and the behavior is no different than what Donald Trump is doing. So if everybody is so worried about Donald Trump, then you need to be worrying about what's going on now. You want to put up a fight? This is the fight to put up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what I want to
Right, you
add,
want to jump in? Go ahead, William.
what I want to add to that is the 12th is very important, but also your division meetings, right? I'll give you an example. Last month, January, we actually had a good turnout at our meeting, right? Where I'm starting to see people wake up, right? But we need more. We need to pack each and every meeting with our concerns and issues that is going on within the union. So have the rally, come out to the rally, but also have more members come to every meeting, right? And bring up the same issues that's going on and hold your reps, hold the administration accountable. right? You have to pack those meetings, right? Because they know the reason why they're doing these things is because they know the members are not that involved. They know just by the amount of people that show up to the meetings, it's not that many people, right? So we do the rallies. We also have to show up to the meetings, section meetings, division meetings, pack the meetings.
Yes, pack your
And then
meetings.
they'll understand that, okay, we're waking up. Then now we have to, now they're gonna work. Now we have to get them to work.
Right. And what he's saying about, so at your union meetings, that's where you can show your dissent. That's where you can let your union officers know that you see them very clearly and that you can hold them accountable. Right. It is very important that you do that. You have to make sure that you hold them accountable. Right. You cannot have union officials not know that that you are angered by what they're doing. Everybody should be outraged at their VPs right now. Everyone. They had no business voting on anything. They should have been demanding that an executive board meeting be held immediately. They should have been. Why were they voting to approve, okay, or to understand the package? That package should have been knocked down altogether. Right? There were a lot of clues that were happening at those meetings and what we've heard that was leaked out to us about those meetings that are very disturbing. That the people who were in the room didn't do what they needed to do to make sure that they were protecting the membership. And that is a serious thing. We have to make sure that we are standing up when we have the opportunity to and when we're in the room, right? There's no reason to have VPs and top officers if they have no voice, right? Everybody is bought out. Everybody is acquiescing. So, we're in serious times. Boatwright, you want to weigh in?
Uh, yeah. So you know, um, yeah. I agree with what's been said. I want to say that you know, it's really important to first first and foremost. I think that the union hasn't been. We lost the union a long time ago. We're trying to take it back. We're trying to take back our union, um, and I think that part of that means um, is getting Evangeline to be president, right? I don't know if that's been said yet, but I think that that should be part of the goal. However, I don't know what the steps are for us. Okay, so after if and let's say we get the petition and everyone we get a lot of signatures, uh, then what? And then because I didn't see the numbers for how the last election went, and so I don't know how you would do, Evangeline, with any of the other contenders. Well, I guess that would only be with Torello. I guess the question is, do we have enough time to campaign and beat him if and when that time comes?
Correct. So we have the time to organize and mobilize to make sure that, if it was me who was the person that would be running against John Chiarillo, we would have enough time to effectively campaign and do what needs to be done for the election to take place. But one of the things you said, what happens after the petition? So the petition is an organizing tool to get everyone to sign on to express their dissent and for us to submit it not only to our local, but to the Department of Labor, right? To let them know where we are. Also, after we finish the petitioning process and we're able to show the executive board what the members are saying that it is that they want, right? If the executive board continues to move in a way against us, what we will do at the mass membership meeting and what we have the power to do is to move a motion for a special election at the mass membership meeting and take a vote. Now, we have been silenced at the mass membership meeting for a very long time. And that's because the members at large show up and we let the leadership do whatever they want, because the majority of us do not know our what our bylaws state. So a part of this process of what we're doing is educating the members to help them to understand where did that section in the bylaws come in where there is a way for them to appoint, right? If you look in section 3 of the bylaws, it says at the very end, the executive board, in the event that there's a vacancy in the office of the president, the executive board shall designate an officer to finish out the unexpired term. That has not happened. Our bylaws also tell us that if the executive board makes a decision that we are not happy with and we don't agree with, we have the ability to overturn those decisions at our division meetings, at a general membership meeting or a mass membership meeting. These are the ways that we go in and we exercise our power as a local. However, that has not happened, and the majority of the members don't. So as we're coming around with these petitions and as we're asking you all to sign up, what we want you all to understand is what are your protections and how do you execute and move forward for us to accomplish what we want. And that's why we're telling you it's not going to happen in 2 days. It's not
Right.
going to happen just by us having protests on the 12th. That protest is going to have to continue to build. We're not going on with business as usual. We will never check the MTA until we have a president in place that is willing to empower the officers to be able to check each and protect each and every bargaining unit. Stations will always be in jeopardy and most likely be phased out if we do not get a president in there, right? MOW is heading for when it comes to having contractors doing our work. Right now, there are more contractors working for the TA right now than there are employees, and that is a fact. Right? This is not something that we're waking up. This is the TA's numbers, and we are a closed shop. So until we get back to being a real union, right, we're going to continue to see what is happening. And so this fight is something that has to be sustained. It cannot be a one and done. So that's what we're trying to rally you all to understand, that you have to get up and fight. In Tier 6, everybody that's coming in as Tier 6, there is an orchestrated move by the MTA to ensure that we retire without pensions, that they break us, okay? They do not want us to prosper in our job. They just want our labor, but they do not want to compensate us for it, right? So that is what is on the line, and every department is dealing with it. I think it was you, Gator, that was telling me the other day that JP Patapia has given up the shuttle work, right? The shuttle
It's
work is
now,
now a part of the pick, right? And so as we see these constant givebacks, it's because we have a company union. And until we fix it, it's going to get worse and worse. Understand that better than Local 100 has been broken. The union thinks when they go and make these deals with management and when they sell us out to management and they do these things that, they're protecting their bottom line, right? But eventually it'll all go up in flames. It'll all be smoke and mirrors because we're weak. And so we have to begin to build back and get our strength back. And the only way we're going to do that is by standing up and fighting back. So the 12th is the first step towards what it is that we're trying to accomplish, and we're going to continue to build out and continue. So what we want you all to do is sign the petition. I'll put the petition in the chat so you all can sign it, share it with your coworker, with our coworkers, our brothers and sisters, and our fellow members. Share out the information. Sean, do you want to say anything else before we move on? Sean? Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to say before we go to the next segment, and then we begin to prepare to close out?
Yes, Ms. President.
Go ahead.
What we need to also have everybody that's on this understand is that we need to take these seats. Everybody who works for this company has the capability of doing a job as a VP, a steward, and we need to revamp the entire leadership of this here company, because what's happening is I've been here 25 years and I know I'm a black sheep. I've been an advocate for working, and because a lot of us don't know the policies of this company, we don't even know our own policies of our union. And this is what's causing, or what I believe caused us to be disfranchised from our union, because we don't know how to protect ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, the committee has no authority to make a choice, so there should not be no choice. Samuelson had no authority to make the decision to remove. There should not have been no decision made. And now we're saying we don't have a remedy for it. So now, where do we go with that type of attitude? Take the seats.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has the ability to stand up. And how do we do that? Show up on the 12th. Show up when you're called. We done experienced this as children coming up from Rosa Park on down. This is nothing new. So everybody under the sound of my voice, why do we got to be there on the 12th? Look at what's going on in the country, period, and you will see the connection. Thank you.
Okay. So, Gator, do you want to say something?
Just a brief. February 12th is going to be a very critical part for us, because it's going to let the union know that we're aware of exactly what's going on. And we're not just going to sit idly by and allow them to steal everything. Excuse me. That we have to think about this as there was so many of us prior to us active members today. We have over 22,000 retirees right now that are being, how can I put this? They're being affected by this because Richie Davis took away their traditional Medicare. Okay, so now they're stuck with Aetna Advantage, and they're having a lot of issues with that. As active members today, we're having a lot of issues with that new dental plan that so-called Richie Davis gave us. Okay, so we keep giving, and the people that paved the way for us are paying the price. We got to sooner or later take a stand for ourselves and say enough's enough. We have given. It's our turn to take what we deserve. We're the ones doing the work. We're the ones putting in the time and making the sacrifices, working through COVID, working through 9/11, working through rainstorms, working through hailstorms, working through snow, whatever the weather is, blackouts, whiteout, whatever you want to call it. We work through everything, but we don't get the rewards for our work. It's time for the members to stand up and take action. So on February 12th, it's going to make a critical piece and say to the members of the union, listen, we're here. We understand what's going on. And it's your term. Your time has come. You have not done what we need to be done.
Correct. Thank you, Gator. Anasi, do you want to say anything? You haven't heard from you yet. Nancy, do you want to say anything? Okay. Anybody else want to weigh in before we talk about? I just want to really end with everybody understanding, just going over one more time what it's going to take for us to win. Does anybody else have anything else they want to say before I, close out with what it's going to take for us to win?
Before you close out, I just want to address the members in MEPSTOA Division 1 and Division 2, if that's okay, Evangeline.
Go ahead.
I have a personal request for everybody in Division 2 and in Division 1. I want you to look around, and every time you're at a shop gate or at a union meeting, look to your left and look to your right and just listen. Hear what the union is telling you. Okay? Are they talking about your health, your welfare, and your safety? Are the members that are there, are they all the same people all the time? Are they the ones that are getting the overtime? Are they the ones that are getting the carte blanche work? Are they just the ones that are always sitting there in the union office, always doing errands for the unions, bringing them coffee, bringing them food, this and that? Are these the people that you want in your office? I really need you to think about this now, because our livelihood is at stake here. We have lost tremendous amount of strides that we came forward. We're not going forward, we're going backwards. It's time for the members of MEPSTOA to stand up and take back our union. We have been oppressed for far too long. We can no longer sit back and rely on one union official to do everything right. It's supposed to be a collective. Every single person in that union office has to work in unison for the members. It's not one person who controls an entire depot. I'm sorry. It can't be done that way. There's 5 people. There are 5 members inside that union office. And picture a hand. If you have 5 fingers on a hand, you could hold on to something and you could hold on to it really long and really hard. But if you have only 1 finger on that hand, you can't hold on to anything. So what I'm trying to tell everybody is that start looking around you and start asking questions at your own division offices. Ask them, why is this happening? Why is that happening? Stand there and demand answers and watch how fast they leave. Watch how fast they turn around and they walk out of the union meeting and not say nothing at all. Once you start asking your hard questions, and once you start asking them, and if you're going to ask those questions, I'm going to tell you this right now. They can't blackball you. They can't take away your overtime. They can't turn around and tell you, oh, you shouldn't have said that or you shouldn't have did that. Everybody has a right to speak in a union meeting or in a shop gate. That's why we hold them. That is your turn to say something. If you don't like it and you don't appreciate it and you don't want it in your depot, let the union know about it.
Thank you, Gator. Thank you so much. So with that being said, we always talk about MEPSTOA. It is a heavily oppressed part of the union and suppressed part of the union as far as their involvement. Their union reps and their overtime is given out by their officers, and a lot of time, if you're not their favorite or if you're not on their radar, then they give it to those, who are beholden to them, and they leave everyone else out. And so it's serious times for everybody at Local 100. And I've been talking about it for the longest, that we need to understand our rights, and that striking and the word strike is not a dirty word. It is something that can be discussed. We have freedom of speech. We can say and talk about whatever it is that we want to talk about. And really, what does that mean in regards to our union? as we saw across the country when strikes were happening in UAW, the International Longshoremen, and the record-breaking raises that everyone got who exercised their right to strike. And so these are things as a membership we do have to discuss, and we have to start understanding that this is our union. Whatever happens to it is because of us. If we stand up and we take accountability and ownership of our union, then things will turn around and change. But the onus is on us. I don't want to hear anybody else tell me anything about what the union is not doing, because you're the union, right? So as you point your finger out, I'm going to say, hey, you're talking about yourself. You have to understand that you have the power. So I just want to close out and help everyone to understand, what is it going to take for us to win? We need the vast majority of members, 44,000 of us, to make our way to the mass membership meeting. We need you all to be out in full force every time we call a rally, a press conference. Every time we have to keep the pressure on. John Samuelson has to be exposed. He is the target. It was him, John Samuelson, who ordered the hit. Understand, let's look at the timeline of what happened during this election, right? Running for president, I'm put up for dismissal. They tell everybody I'm fired already. She can't run. He's not going to be here. They do all of this to basically railroad my chance at becoming president. Management and the union works together. They block me from going into MAPSTOA depots and some parts of MOW. Station supervisors are calling me and emailing me, telling me not to come on the property. I can't come to their locations. I'm actively battling behind the scenes, while the union is behind the scenes pushing and telling people and putting out this narrative that I'm terminated, right? After they do that, now, I was supposed to be fired during the election process. I wasn't supposed to be here right now, according to their timeline and their hit, right? But it didn't happen the way they were supposed to. I was supposed to be fired, and then they moved Richie Davis, and then they move in John Chiarillo, just based off of the flow chart of what we see happening, right? Because Richie Davis was dirty the whole time. They knew that he was abusing women and had all of these things going along the whole time. But what did they do? They let the election occur. I'm still on the property, right? They charged me with a border hearing abandonment and tried to fire me that way. That didn't work. So what do? She's still here, but they got to get rid of Davis. He was never supposed to be the president. They need John Chiarillo there so that they can do what it is that they want to do. Because like Richie Davis or not, right, he had conversations with people about his feelings towards Gaetano and Samuelson, and they now understood that he wasn't playing ball, right? So they always had a plan to get rid of him, and they always wanted John Chiarillo. So, however this situation occurred, and the information becomes known to Samuelson, he uses that to go to an executive committee, the International Executive Board, right, where John Chiarillo sits on the Committee of Appeals. And they say that they they convened a meeting to remove Richie Davis. So the same person, John Chiarillo, who is on the chairman of the Committee on Appeals, is actively participating in the takedown of the president, only to be installed as the president. Y'all don't see something wrong with this whole process? It stinks. It is foul. How does the person who removes the president turn around and become the president. And so this is what we are up against. The idea for the TA and the union that I be the president, that I be the one calling the shots and making sure things are happening as designed and going up against the TA. Oh, they don't want that. They want people who are going to play ball, who are going to acquiesce and sell out. No, we're not doing that over here. And so it is time for the members to understand this is how we're going to win. We're going to sign these petitions. We're going to get as many, if we could get more than 20,000, keep signing the petitions. Take some petitions, get them signed yourself. Join the committee. We're recruiting. Come on board. We will help you, educate you, make sure you understand your duties and responsibilities as a member of Local 100, how to deal with management, how to protect yourself and your job as you move forward. We know what it takes and we know what to do. So this is going to be a fight that will be sustained. And understand, I don't care if it start let me say this. Do not despise the days of small beginnings. Movements are built. You build it and the people will come as they agree and align with the mission. This is bigger than any of us that are on here who have stepped up to lead the charge. But what we want you to know is that this fight is going to be a long haul fight. We're not going to let up. We're coming for Samuelson. We're coming for Yatano, Dennis Engel. We want them all out of our union, and we want them out now. John Chiarillo is right now actively engaging in retaliatory tactics against executive board members and trying to charge them that they're acting out of their authority when they are not. An executive board member is an independent member of the union. They do not, when they come to an executive board meeting, they're coming to do the business of the membership, to get a report and an accounting of what's going on in our union, and that does not happen. And anytime someone tries to question or challenge, Chiarillo thinks that he can silence them. But no, the only person that's going to be silenced now, sir, is you. Because you will not be president for 3 years here. Okay? We are going to fight, and we're going to fight. And for anybody that's in MOW, you like your job? You like your paycheck? Well, just look what John Chiarillo, as the head of the Farming Out Committee, has done to the Department of MOW. How is it looking over there in MOW, in infrastructure, in power department? How is it looking over there in track, in line equipment signals? It's not looking too good. And so we have to do something, and the time is now. You don't continue to get opportunities like this, right? You don't continue to have opportunities. You have a time to act. You have an opportunity to act, and you have to do it. If you miss your moment, you miss your moment. We do not want to get to next year contract negotiations with John Chiarillo at the table, who was pushing the Medicare Advantage give back, who was lying to members and saying that it would not affect our retirees and that our active members would not be affected, when that is our retirement package. Those medical benefits were our retirement package. So just be very clear. This is a sustained fight. It starts, the first rally and protest is on the 12th, and we're going to continue to build out to the mass membership meeting. We're going to get these petitions signed. We're going to keep the pressure on John Samuelson, Dennis Engel. We need to expose these people. Everybody needs to see what they're doing. It's just like what's happening in government right now. Do you realize that the Treasury, the United States Treasury, is under siege. We're basically in the midst of a coup. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time when someone who is unelected can go into the Treasury Department and shut down websites and take away access, go into the Department of Justice, and people who were doing the job that they were hired to do are now removed and targeted for their role in trying to protect our government when we were under siege and all witnessed the insurrection that happened. And so we have to understand what is happening in our nation right now is happening right here at Local 100, and we have to do everything in our power to protect our union. And it's happening right in the midst of Black History Month. And I tell y'all all the time, especially for those of us melanated people, we have no jobs in government without movement. We have no access to work and labor without movement. If it wasn't for the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, and for transit workers, Martin Luther King, Quill and Connolly meeting up with Dr. King and telling men in the South who had they could work nowhere, that there were jobs in the North. You can come and become transit workers. Okay? Our collective bargaining agreement, that collective bargaining agreement that you don't read, that dissolves, so does your job. And so the give backs and all of these things that are happening is critical for us. And so we have to do something about it. Michael Quill and Connolly and the men that met in that restaurant to form Local 100 have to be turning over in their grave to see what in the world this union has come to. The men that fought to make sure we had a 40-hour work week, that our safety was made a priority, that we had real raises. Look what we've become. We're behind everyone. And so this is all at stake. When we fight, we win. We will see you on February 12th at the Union Hall outside of 195 Montague Street. We will be out there in full force. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for the morning session and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. for the evening section. Make sure you are out there in number and that you are accounted for and that you stand up for your union. Tawan, would you like to say anything before we go?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head with most of it. I would just speak to the station's department and say that this is a very, 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 very important time for us. Our department is in danger, and we need to have leadership that speaks to our circumstances and leaderships that is willing to fight for what we deserve and the protection of our jobs and the protection of our future. We need to get rid of the leadership in play right now. We need shift. We need a change. We need a complete restructure from the ground up. And the fact we don't have shop stewards is a big a loss to us. The fact that we don't have the protections we need in place is a big threat to us. And that needs to change. That needs to shift. And it starts by us being engaged. It starts by us showing up and showing out. We're going to drag this leadership through the mud, period. You know, they're going to see, they're going to understand that our resolve, it is not going to be budged. Our resolve, it is heavy. It is deep, and we are willing to go as far as we need to go in order to make sure that we, as transit workers, get the benefits, the pay, the protections, the democracy that we deserve within our union. And you know, this movement that begins on the 12th, that begins today, it's just the first step it's just the first step in many that is going to shift and rattle the ground beneath 195 Montague. So I will see you there on the 12th. I look forward to meeting you guys again, and let's have those vocal cords ready so that we can make sure they hear us loud and clear, that we will not stand by and allow them to create a democracy out of our, I'm sorry, a dictatorship out of our union. We're not going to stand around and let them become autocrats to our union. We're not going to allow that to happen. So I will see you there on the 12th, and I will see you on the road when I come and get those petitions. Let's make some moves.
Okay, thank you. William?
Yeah, so I just want to piggyback off what Twan said, and I just want to read something to the members watching this, just from the International Constitution, right? For Article 12 on structure, Section 2, it states, subject to the provisions of the International Constitution and the bylaws of the local union, and to all delegations of authority and assignment of responsibility to the local officers and the local executive board as provided in the International Constitution and the local bylaws. The supreme authority in the local union shall be the membership of the local union. I'm going to say that again. The supreme authority in the local union shall be the membership of the local union. Between such meetings of the local, between duly regularly called meetings, the local union, or through duly called regular meetings of the respective sections or divisions of the local meeting separately, as by the local bylaws may provide, between such meetings, the local executive board shall have the power and authority to administer the affairs of the local union. Come out February 12th. Also, pack the meetings, right? Pack the meetings. You are the supreme authority of the union. The members are the supreme authority of the union. It's in our Constitution. It's in our bylaws, right? So, and I just want to give you a little thought, and I've been thinking about this for the past 2 weeks now. You know, there are union members, and then there are members that have a membership with the union. You have to figure out which one are you. Are you a union member, or are you just a member that has a membership with the union? Right? So I can't wait to see you guys on the 12th, and to see a lot of new faces and make a lot of new connections and build, right? And also see everybody pack those meetings.
Yes, and we're going to continue on. Okay, go ahead, Gator.
Last thing I want to say to each and every member of the TWU Local 100. The foundation of this union was built off the members' back. It is our voices. It is our union. Remember that, my brothers and sisters. It is our voices, our union. This union would not exist if it wasn't for us, the members. It's pivotal and it's critical that everybody understands that. Our voice is our union. Let your voice be heard. Come out on February 12th and let 195 Montague Street know that this is our union. Hear our voice. Thank you.
Thank you. Boatwright, would you like to say anything before we close out? Champree, would you like to say anything before we close out?
Well, I think Galliano was trying to get back in. He wanted to say something.
I don't see him here. He's not here. He probably went off. Go ahead, Boatwright. Do you want to say anything? Last statement before we leave?
Yeah, I think that I think one of the things that was that you said, Evangeline, that resonated with me was about this being a chance, and I think that What happens when we miss the opportunity to take action? And I think what many people think is that when we miss an opportunity, that then there will be another opportunity. That's important to remember. And the truth is, yeah, there will be another opportunity, but at what cost? What are the conditions that the opportunity will change? And what more do we have to fight for? The conditions are going to be worse later on. What we will be losing in our contract will be worse later on when we don't seize the moment. So I'll just leave it with that.
Okay, thank you. Shampri, would you like to say anything before we close out? We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Shampri. While you get your audio together, Girly, would you like to say something before we leave?
Yes, I would just like everybody under this here to understand that knowledge is power, but it's only useful when we use it. And with all that we said and everything that we done to this point here, it focused right back down to the individual, you and me. We have to show up at 195 Montague, February 12th. Please. Other than that, they're going to put the collar back around our necks and we'll be singing jingle bells.
Okay, thank you, Girly. Shampri, is your audio working now? Shampri? 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 Shampri, can you hear us? Shampri? I don't think he can hear us. Shampri, can you hear us? Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you can speak before we
All right,
close
so
out.
I want to say I'll see everybody on the 12th. This is the time to stand and take a fight now for the future, for everything that we believe in. Peace, love. I'm out.
Okay, thank you, Shampri. Anasi, you didn't say anything tonight. Would you like to say anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right, everyone. So with that being said, thank you all for attending our town hall. We'll be bringing these to you regularly as we prepare for the 12th. Everyone, please share the video, like the video. Okay, like, share, and hit the notification bell so that when we are bringing you town halls or any type of interviews or any type of information to engage you, you can know about it. So like, share, and hit the notification bell. And have a good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for attending our town hall. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody. Subscribe.